Okay, so here I am having a coffee break, and today I want to talk about Stollen. That's not stolen or stollen, but Stollen. Don't blame me that the Germans seem to have invented all the best Christmas customs. Although, of course, you could say that the English are Germanic, and there is a clue in the Saxon part of Anglo-Saxon. Anyway, my little coffee break treat this Sabbath is this gorgeous Christmas favourite we know as Stollen. Strictly speaking, we should call it Weihnachtsstollen, that is Christmas Stollen, or even Christstollen, which is Christ's Stollen. So really at the heart of it is a bread, and the Christmas version has all sorts of festive ingredients added, and there are of course a number of recipes, but for the authentic original you have to go to Saxony and Dresden in particular, where the Christmas bread is also called Striezel, and in Advent there is a traditional Striezelmarkt. And on the second Sunday in Advent, there is a big Stollen festival. And the history behind all of this is rather fun. So come back with me into the 15th century. Yes, we're back to the Middle Ages. Advent is a season for fasting, and the use of butter is banned by the church's rules. So the bakers of Latin Christendom in particular had to use oil instead. Think about this, this is the Middle Ages. And they made oil by pounding up various root vegetables, usually turnips. And this took a long time and the oil was very expensive. So the bakers in Saxony petitioned the Pope in 1450 for special dispensation to use butter in their rather tasteless Advent bread. They were refused. But they kept on asking, and finally in 1490 the Pope, Innocent VIII, granted permission, but only to the Prince of Saxony, of Dresden, and his household. Everyone else had to pay a kind of tax. However, so that was in 1490, so note that. The first mention in a document in Dresden of Stollen is dated 1474. The genuine Stollen, Striezel, is made under licence by 150 master family bakers in Dresden. The word Stollen means a post or a boundary stone, in fact, and you could kind of see that the kind of long, elongated loaf looks a bit like a post you might mark something, a boundary stone. And some people fashion it as a kind of crib or manger and call it Christstollen, which is supposed to be like the baby Jesus in his swaddling clothes. The first Christmas version was served up at the Council of Trent in 1545, that's the 19th Ecumenical Council, as it's called. Or was it? In a little town called Torgau, which is about 75 kilometres northwest of Dresden, it is claimed that in 1457, so that's the earliest date we've had so far, in defiance of the papal ban on butter, a baker named Heinrich Drasdorf added butter, raisin and spices to the basic uninspiring Advent loaf to produce the first fancy Christmas season Stollen. And he definitely shaped his to resemble the baby Jesus in swaddling. And now what we might call the Striezel wars have broken out. So Torgau has made a bid to say we were the first, and our Heinrich invented this, But Wolfgang Hasse, who is currently the head of Dresden City's Stollen Protection Association, yes, it really does exist, told Spiegel Online, Spiegel is a famous German magazine, as some of you may know, he told Spiegel Online, it doesn't matter who baked what 500 years ago, the real Christmas Stollen only comes from Dresden. I'm sure Torgau bakes good Stollen, but Dresden never claimed to be first. We're just the best. All I can say is you can't keep a good recipe down, and as Christmas food goes, this is indeed up there in the top 10. Whoever invented it, and it obviously did originate in Saxony in the 15th century, traditionally the only sugar in the traditional Christmas version of the bread, because of when it was first invented, was in the fruit itself. And nowadays it's often soaked in rum or brandy, and then icing sugar is sprinkled on the top after the baking. Till quite recently you had to go to Germany to find any, or maybe have a kind German relative or a friend who would offer you some if you went to their house for tea. Many German households have their own family recipe. By the way, not all do have marzipan in the middle, that's an optional extra. One of the best gifts I received from the Bonn Churches Exchange was the gift of a whole Stollen to take home with me. Was it from Dresden? Yes, it was, just saying. Maybe it's the arrival of German Advent markets over here which has encouraged the spread. But nowadays, many supermarkets do a Stollen type thing. These are cheating, I know, but you know, best I could get. And a number of people I know have tried baking their own at home as well. And why not? Because it's full of Christmas flavours, spices like nutmeg and cinnamon, dried fruits and citrus peel. It's a perfect Christmas treat, and it sits so well on the festive tea table alongside mince pies and Christmas cake. So do treat yourself to some Stollen and thank the innovative Saxon bakers of the Middle Ages, whoever it was who invented this delicious seasonal treat. Cheers, everyone.